Alright fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters. You know what time it is. We're asking ourselves, should you summon for Sigma How and Tapu Koko? I'm not going to give you a direct answer yet, but I'm going to say that it definitely does depend a little bit on kind of what you want, kind of what you need. I'm leaning more towards the side of, like, I'm definitely in the middle, for sure. Definitely in the middle of it. But I think you can make plenty of great cases on why you should summon for him and why you should not summon for him. So we're going to go over them, and I'll let you decide at the end. I'm going to give my stance on it, but of course my stance is only one of many. You're going to kind of want a lot of different inputs on this, probably, I would say. But anyway, let's continue or go on with this. So, how's a Pokefair Scout? So that's very, very good, of course. He's got 2% rates, of course, so there's definitely a good chance you can pull him in within the first, 5, 6 multis, right? So, pretty good there. You can still get unlucky, though, of course, like any banner. But I digress. So he's a tech unit, he's an electric type, weak to ground, and his stats are 350 for attack and special attack, 600 HP, 423 speed, so he's going to be good on the offensive and speed side of things, as well as having okay bulk with nearly 200 defenses, and quite a bit over 600 HP, so there's that. He's got his passive skills here, Electric Terrain, Debut, and Extension 5, meaning he's able to apply Electric Terrain to the ally field, and extend its duration, just like, Marchie. I just combined their names. Archie and Maxie's Sun and Rain. Marchie. I should really call them that, just to, like, refer to them both, or something like that. That'll honestly be a lot easier, but anyway. So he's got that ability for Electric Terrain, which is very, very nice. He's got Team Power Induction 2, which powers up the moves of all allies when the terrain is electric terrain. So literally pretty much just for being on the field and not changing the field effect or terrain. He's just straight up got a 20% bonus for all allies' damage, which is very, very good. And then he's got his his signature passive here, I guess you could say, Melee Ocean Breeze. Increases the special moves next of all allied sync pairs by 1 when an ally activates a weather, terrain, or zone effect. I'm pretty sure that does activate on entry, so of course on entry he's also going to be giving allies +1 special moves next, which is very, very nice there. So, looking at the moves here, he's got Dazzling Gleam, whatever, doesn't really need mentioned. Fairy Wish, which is a big one, so he's got Electric Terrain extension, and he's got Fairy Wish here for Fairy Zone, which is very, very nice as well. He's got Buddy Electro Web, his main source of damage. It's a 1-gauge move, 100 base power, hits all enemies, and the activation condition is when there is a field effect in play, weather, zone, or terrain. And then the deactivation condition is when there is no field effects in play. And then the move's power is doubled when the zone is Fairy. Lowers the target's speed by 2 and raises the speed of all allies by 2. Very strong. If you've got Fairy Zone activated, then bringing in this Buddy Electro Web, you're going to be doing 200 to 240, give or take, base electric damage to all enemies, which is very, very nice. And then he's got his trainer move here, which raises the special attack by 4, his crit by 2, and reduces the sync move countdown by 1 in Fairy Zone. So just overall looking at him at 1 out of 5, he's got a lot of good stuff here. He's got, extension for electric terrain. He's got buffing allies with his Team Power Induction 2 here. He's got Melee Ocean Breeze buffing all allies' special moves next, which can be very, very nice on any special attacking team. Then he's got Fairy Wish for Fairy allies as well, and he's got Buddy Electro Web to do a lot of great DPS in his own right, as well as being somewhat self-sufficient and buffing his special attack and crit here as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's really good for this How, at least at 1 out of 5. So let's look at who does he help out with special attack on the electric side? Not really many units, right? Think about it. He's just helping out Ash, which is a big one, and then Volkner. New Year's Volkner, of course. He's helping out himself with the... I'm looking at the passives here. If you want to buff all allies here at the maximum capacity, buffing special attackers would be best. He definitely does buff himself quite well. He buffs New Year's Volkner very well. He buffs Ash. Red, I'm quite almost starting his physical. Yeah, so I don't really help out Red all that much. He helps out quite a few electric units with this, but even still, even if you don't bring him on like an electric terrain, or not like an electric team, and you just bring him like maybe a fairy team or something, still, a lot of fairy characters are obviously special attackers, some of the more prominent ones, like Diantha's a big special attacker, Sigma Wally is a pretty big special attacker, I guess you could use New Year's Dawn, or not New Year's Palatine's Dawn and all them, but mostly like Diantha and Wally here are the big fairy damage dealers that are special based. Of course, you do have New Year's Licia, but she's physical, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. But hey, more Fairy Zone. I'll take more Fairy Zone for sure. We definitely needed these options, and we've got How here, and we got Mina, of course, now with her having Fairy Zone. That's definitely a big one as well. So it does help out a lot of allies here at 1 out of 5. So if you do go for one copy, I don't blame you. Definitely having the debut Electric Terrain, extension, having Fairy Zone, those two things alone being provided together make him very, very valuable. Then he's able to buff allies with the 2 other passives here and do solid enough. Well, probably pretty good AoE damage with Buddy Electro Web here, even if he's not like your main damage dealer, right? Dazzling Gleam is literally just taking up a slot. Who cares? But yeah, I digress. 1 out of 5, definitely very, very strong, very, very solid here. And of course, sync move buff here whenever it's in electric terrain, of course. Only problem I have is that, of course, you're not able to maintain infinite electric terrain unless you have an ally who's providing it, right? But that's kind of a niche mention, I guess. But anyway, let's look at How's grid here. 1 out of 5, he doesn't get too much, of course. He gets turbocharged, charging gauge whenever electric terrain, so there's that to help out with gauge and whatnot. 2 out of 5, Dazzling Gleam, Super Duper Effective 5. In my opinion, I would just go for Buddy Electro Web at that point. Who cares? It's just Dazzling Gleam. It doesn't do much damage as is. Weird Vibes 5, powers up moves when terrain psychic. Don't go for it. Not worth it. Because you're sacrificing electric terrain for psychic terrain, and that's just a weird team build anyway. Power Induction 1, powering up users' moves when the terrain is electric is a very, very strong thing to have there. Dazzling Gleam, Whimsical Power 9, that's good for sure, but I still don't think Dazzling Gleam's damage will compete against Buddy Electro Web whenever it's under Fairy Zone, right? I still think Buddy Electro Web would just do more damage. It's gonna hit way harder in my opinion, even with this, so keep that in mind. He's got Special Attack plus 10, Train Move NPR, meaning maybe he can get max Special Attack and crit. That's pretty much it. He gets some shock recovery and grounding wire here, but other than that, nothing too crazy. 3 out of 5 is where he gets the big stuff, right? The big abilities. He gets Mind Games 9, debuffing special defense. He gets the Sync Nodes, of course. He gets Power Plant. This is one of the big things I recommend people pick up. Power Plant. Sharp Entry 1, which can be good, but not necessary. Cakewalk and Hunter's Instinct. Team Altered Field Dodge 9. I wouldn't really pick it up. It's only whenever an ally activates a field effect, and that's not going to happen too much. It'll happen quite a bit, but not like a major amount. But if you do want to pick it up, I wouldn't blame you for sure. Picking that up and then using Fairy Wish and having electric terrain constantly be activated and whatnot, that could definitely be very, very good for buffing allies' evasion and whatnot, which is obviously just great in any way you want to shape it. Whimsical Sync 5, of course, for extra sync move damage, and well out of energy at this point. I do think the biggest thing with him is that you can go for either a nuking damage route, or you can go for a utility type of route where he's got Power Plant. Power Plant is a very, very big one here, being able to have infinite electric terrain, having Mind Games 9 for special defense debuffing on top of debuffing speed and buffing ally speed. It's very, very good, right? A lot of the units can benefit from special defense debuffs. It's one of the abilities you just love to have in the game. Plus, Buddy Electro Web being AoE. Fucking man, just start spamming that. You can get a bunch of special defense debuffs in there and having electric terrain up, helping out a lot of units like New Year's Vulcaner and whatnot, and just normal How himself as well. But anyway, let's see, what else could I mention here that can make this guy look really, really nice? Of course, these two are the big ones. This is just 3 out of 5 as well. At 4 out of 5, you do get, let me check. Yeah, you do get Quick Tempo, which I wouldn't really call that great, and then Adrenaline 1, which likewise. But you do get Brain Gain on Fairy Wish, which is solid, but honestly still not even close to being worth it. And Unfortuitous, which would be nice, but also, let's just note that there's a bunch of energy problems just straight up in general. So fuck whatever they're trying to add here. That does not work. It does not work the way that they want it to because of just energy limitations. I think these are probably two of the best things in terms of utility that he has. Other than this, I'd probably just go for like a sync, like a little bit of a sync route. Like you don't have to go full sync, but I'd say something like this is probably the best thing you can probably build. Probably what I would recommend building if you're gonna go for a half nuke, half fuck, I can't think of it. Also, I can't pick up Power Plant. Shit, I want to pick up Power Plant. Why do they do this? Why do they do this thing every time? Let's see, what should I pick up? Fuck. fuck. Oh well, fine. It's fine. Just kind of depends on what you need to pick up here. If you want to go for a full sync route, you can do that. If you want to go for a full utility route with maybe a little bit of sync move related stuff built into it, that's fine. But just kind of depends on everything that you want to do and everything that you kind of need, right? Either way, if you're picking up Power Plant, you're likely going to pick up Shock Recovery, which means you're going to be healing in Electric Terrain as well. So there's a lot that he can do when it comes to, you know, what was the term they used for tech units? Fuck. Disrupting allies, yeah, I believe that's what it was. Yeah, or disrupting enemies. So there's a lot that you can do with How here. A lot of stuff for electric units, a lot of stuff for fairy units, and even if you're not using it with either of those units, you can still benefit off of the Team Power Induction and the Melee Ocean Breeze, the Mind Games 9 and whatnot, and obviously him just having solid DPS, a solid nuke, and everything like that. So as a tech, pretty good unit. I'm not gonna say he's the best unit, but you've seen everything that he can do. Also, I swear I keep calling him Hop. It might be How. What is How? This is How. But if I say Hop, just know I mean How, obviously. Keep calling him Hop. I do that a lot because the characters are literally the same. I don't really care what you say. They're pretty much the damn same people, but my bad. Anyway. Yeah, How's good here. It just kind of depends on what you kind of need. Do note that How is not the only unit in this update to apply Fairy Zone. There is also Mina who applies it via the same type of entry passive that How has with Fairy Zone debut and extension, right? So keep that in mind as well. So if you're going to be summoning for How, do note that there are some other things that may be coming, or well, they're definitely coming in the future that are a little bit more valuable in my opinion, such as Mina and Acerola. But do know that How can also probably help you out as well. So it literally just depends on what you want. I'm not going to be personally summoning for How because I don't need the Electric Terrain stuff and the Fairy Wish stuff because I'm going to be going for Mina, who is able to provide the Fairy Zone stuff that I want. So, whatever, right? I don't think that How for me is not worth it, but How for you definitely may be worth it. I definitely can see. I definitely would not blame people for pulling even just one copy of him because him at 1 out of 5 is pretty insane. But I digress. Just depends on what you need on if you should summon for him or not. He's good. He can be very, very strong just in general, and he's got a lot of utility related stuff to help out a lot of different characters, even ones that don't benefit directly from electric or fairy terrain and zone, right? But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think about Sigma Suit How and Tapu Koko down in the comments below. Let me know if you're gonna be summoning for them or not. If you are gonna be summoning, good luck. If you're not going to be summoning, definitely hope, I wish you luck for who you're going to be summoning for in the future, whether it be from this update or from just a future data mine and whatnot. But yeah, I'll see you all later.